Welcome back to Her Perspective. If you're just joining us, we've been having a very lively and interesting discussion with three single women. Geraldine Pinnock, she was scheduled to be married but did not get married because her spouse died. We have Keisha Francis, she's never been married before, and Nadine Campbell, she is a divorcee. So we've been having this discussion on singleness, whether it's a blessing or a curse, ladies. Tell us some of the joys of this state of being, Keisha, called singleness. What are some of the joys? Because we tend to look at the negative side many times.
The first thing that comes to mind is the fact that some persons are married and they wish they weren't married. And so I think about the fact that, okay, I now have an opportunity to, one, at least look at some of the factors that cause, these individuals to be unhappy or uncomfortable, and see how is it you can not that you're going to fix it in terms of fixing the person, but then you need time to get to know someone. You need time to be able to know what their likes are, what are their dislikes. You have to be able to even spend time together and develop some sort of memories, right? So I believe it's a time in which you can
get to make a choice.
Yes, get to make a choice and not just take the first person that comes
your way.
Right.
What about you, Nadine?
Oh, for me, it's very clear. Being single has afforded me the opportunity to do a lot of things that I would have to think twice, 3 and 4 times about. The amount of time I give to ministry, to work, to travel, I'd have to think quite a bit more about that if I were not single. So I guess I'm doing a lot of that now because I would operate quite differently if I were married.
Right. Also, many women believe too, that being single is a calling, or could be a calling, considered a calling from God, because being single allows them to be able to, as Nadine said, focus on the ministry and to do things that they probably would not have been able to do had they been otherwise occupied. Do you find that to be your situation?
No, for some people they hear voices. So they're single and they try to figure out that, well, it is a calling, because you can do, married people do a lot of ministry as well. So I can't look at it as my being single. It's a call. A lot of people use the word call to cover a lot of sins.
But in all fairness, Jerry, what about those people who genuinely feel that it is a calling, they by choice decide to be single? Is it that there's something wrong with them?
Nothing is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with them.
You see, I remember, there is a statement that some are called to be eunuchs. The
Right.
reality is that some people, based on their personality and how they are, really and truly do not desire or need close companionship in that way and choose to spend their lives differently. And then there are, for others, it is something that is a need, a need that you have to manage, because as a single person, there are good days and bad days. There are days I just hate being single.
Right.
Worse if you have the memories of being married and having a good, happy life at a point, and then on those days when you're alone and you feel lonely, it's really hard to deal with.
Right.
So
I didn't get your perspective on the question we had asked Jerry in the earlier segment. Is everyone meant to be married? Do you think?
No,
everyone is meant
I don't
to.
think so. I think I've answered that in some way. I don't think everybody is meant to be married. There's some people, I will call no names, but there are persons I know who could leave their family and go away for 6 months, 7 months, and are not at all worried about what's happening with their family at home. They're not telling them where they are. The family are concerned about their welfare and have no clue where that family member is, and they will disappear for 6 months, a year. And they're quite content doing that. And then there are other persons who each day they're concerned about their family members and loved ones in a very personal, daily way. Different callings, it would seem.
I don't know for you guys, but I know for me, because based on the definition, singleness, not being married, I guess I am single. But yes, Jerry, clear your throat.
At the moment.
But how is it, though, that we handle or go about dealing with the person that comes and says, boy, it's time to be married. You've been in an ex-relationship for how long, Keisha? Or, Jerry, you're not getting married. It's been 40 years. Nadine, I mean, it's time now to move on. How do you deal with the pressures of this thing? Keisha, go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, for me, I'm still young. So I believe I still have time. I mean, I'm not rushing into anything. So I'll not allow anyone to force me.
I think Jerry's having
You have to be careful to use that word younger here beside Jerry.
I'd rather not be forced to get married.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
It's sad. People who are trying to push a single person into marriage or encouraging you mean you well.
Yes.
9 times out of 10 mean you well.
Yes.
You, however, have to know yourself.
Yes.
And you also have to be aware that a relationship is not about fulfilling a community need or to provide a community service to now have one less single person on the road. But it is the consummation of a friendship, a relationship, a togetherness of 2 lives that seem as if they can be spent joined together. If that is not your reality, you have no business considering marriage or changing your status of singleness into something else. So it's really important that you find out firstly who you are. You know, after I got over filling up my house with people because, you know, you just, outside of doing good for others, I realized I just didn't like being alone.
Right.
Having wanted to have people in my house all my life and didn't have them. So now, at this grand old age of 49, not 46 as Jerry is, you know, we have an age challenge there.
Age is a number.
Yeah,
I
sure it
really
is.
can say I have learned to enjoy my own company, be comfortable with myself, but I tell you that singleness is not a calling for me.
Okay.
But it will not change until the person who fits that friendship, relationship, union comes in the picture.
I was just about to ask you if you're comfortable with your state of singleness and if you would be comfortable having this state being extended.
Oh, happily for the right reasons and for the right person.
All right,
And
Jerry.
that's not an ad, incidentally. Just a state.
Were the right fit. Were the right fit to come along.
Okay.
And gets on his knees and hopefully he can get back up. I say, will you be my bride? And yeah, I think so. Yeah. But you know what? Keisha said earlier, she's still young. Who read the article some time ago, a couple of months ago, about a 76 and a 72-year-old that they got married. You've never seen happier people in your life. You have a lot of people who do that.
But you're nowhere near there. You're 46.
I am 46.
Yes.
And it depends on the situation. Sure. If I need to be 50, I will be 50.
Okay.
You see, like when you get into line at the bank, it depends. But single, it's nice. It's nice to be single sometimes. You can make your decision. I don't have to ask anybody to go. I need to go someplace. I don't have to ask anybody. But then again, one day I'm walking along. I probably go to the beach and I'm walking along and there's a beautiful sunset. And boy, would I like to just put my hand out and hold somebody's hand and walk. Yeah. Unfortunately, the person is not there. You feel a bit of longing.
Yes.
And anybody who is single, who says they never feel any longing, thou shalt not bear false witness against yourself.
Yes. Keisha, you had something to say?
Yes, I think the problem is sometimes we're sitting around waiting for the right fit. And so we have this ideal in our heads and we're saying, okay, he has to drive a nice car, he has to already have a house, and you know, we have a list of things. And if we even meet someone who is really nice, a nice Christian man, and then, you know, this might just be the person that God had in mind for you. But then because we just have a list of things, and if they don't at least meet, you know, 9 out of 10, or, you know, we believe that this person isn't the right
So
one.
it's my way or
but
the
how do we
highway.
determine, you know?
We're going to get to that in a bit in terms of, you know, making a God choice. But Nadine, go ahead. You want to say something?
No, in fact, what Keisha was saying resonates with some thoughts I had. I know as a fact that there are quite a few persons who make decisions for relationships based on material considerations.
Yes.
If that were the reason that I made decisions, I could be partnered a long time ago with many wealthy people. But I am not influenced by wealth. It is not the driving force for my considerations for relationships. Friends of mine are upset with me and think I'm really crazy. But I am of the view that if a person is right for you, yes, you have to have wisdom in your selections in terms of the material. But the human material to me is far more important because that's what you have to live with for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
And God will help you to work out the rest if they're sane and logical, they too will want to do the things that will make them provide for a family.
You know, Sister Vernal, sorry, I have a challenge with the titles. Lorraine. Yes. I was told by a friend, somebody who means me well, right? She said to me close to probably about 2 years ago, you know, you're a nice young lady, but when you're thinking of getting married, make sure I'm rich. Oh. Marry a rich man. Trust me, no problem after that. And while I knew she meant well, she had her standards by which, you know, she operated, and it would seem as if she was trying to enforce, you know, some of those, or try to get me to live by those standards. But as it relates to the whole idea of dealing with pressure, how do we? I want some practical ways in which we can encourage women like ourselves who are single, you know, how do they deal with it, especially coming out of a situation where your spouse has just died, for example, and, you know, you need that time to recoup and to take and to think and to be by yourself and to rediscover and reinvent. How do we encourage? Keisha?
Personally, I mean, I'm divorced. Divorce is not something I believe in. It's not something that I sought or aspired to, but it became something that it was clear I needed to do. And there is this grieving process that you go through. It is a sad, sad thing, and it can take years for you to recover or seek to recover who you were, because you did not picture yourself as this divorced person alone, you know. And it is therefore even more important for you to find yourself again.
Yes.
Find who you are. Get to that place of self-awareness, and do not expose yourself to a relationship until you have overcome the sorrow and the grief and the loss, or you're going to be carrying that burden into your next relationship.
All right, stick a pin right there. We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.